What will the story of Battlefront 2 be, and what time period in Star Wars will it cover? If you're anything like me, I'm sure you've already watched the trailer 100 times, but there was so much great information peppered throughout and shared at Celebration that I just had to break it all down and share some amazing facts that I discovered in regards to the story itself. Now, the most exciting thing about the story is that we'll be playing through a whole new perspective on one of the most iconic moments in Star Wars history, the Battle of Endor, as well as the direct aftermath of the destruction of the Death Star from the Imperial's view. Now, rather than viewing this through the eyes of the Rebels, we're gonna instead get a new perspective that belongs to the game's main character, Iden Versio, an Imperial commander who helms an elite team known as the Inferno Squad.
We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Though not much is known about the Inferno Squad yet, except its members will be comprised of classes being brought back to Battlefront 2, e.g. an engineer and a heavy trooper is something we can expect, so there's no generic crew by your side, which gives you an idea of what their personalities may be like, which I envision is going to be reminiscent of Scar Squadron's composition, which begs the question, why not Scar Squadron led by Sergeant Creel, the lightsaber-wielding stormtrooper in the latest run of Star Wars comics, but hey, maybe they may have a run-in. Now, that won't be the only point of view we get, however. It was confirmed that certain story missions will have you play as other characters such as Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Switching perspectives between protagonists and antagonists is one of the key parts of storytelling in Star Wars films, and I'm hyped to see the game follow suit. It's not clear how many missions will take us away from the Inferno Squad, but it is exciting to know we will not only be playing as a new character, but also as other established heroes and villains. Now, the story will be taking part during the 30 years between the Battle of Endor at the end of Return of the Jedi and the start of The Force Awakens, which is not really territory we've tread too much. It'll also be entirely canon, so for many fans, this will be bridging the gap between the two movie eras. Now, with the 30-year gap, the gameplay confirmed of switching between Luke and Kylo, it would be amazing to see in that time period the destruction of the Jedi Temple, the most iconic thing that we haven't seen, hasn't been discussed, though when I was at Battlefront 2 panel, it was not confirmed, but was not entirely dismissed either. Imagine playing through the Jedi Academy, seeing the Knights of Ren and how the new Jedi with all of their strength were defeated from Luke's perspective, or a young Kylo's commanding the Knights of Ren, maybe Snoke in tow, or just giving commands, or even maybe, the Inferno Squad if they were at all involved. I think that that's one of those milestones that if they don't tackle it, I would be amazed. Now, seeing as we will be getting most of the story from the Empire's perspective, it's likely it will heavily involve the formation of the First Order and the story of how it came to be over the 3 decades. An early part of the game will likely be the Battle of Jakku, the final stand for the Empire, but where they were all but eradicated, and this took place a year after Endor, so it'll probably be an early part of the tale. As we know, the Imperial fleet was devastated, and the remaining Imperials, most likely including Inferno Squad, were pushed back to the Outer Rim. From here, the story will probably partake in what looks like a Cold War as the remaining Imperials gather their forces, try to undermine the New Republic, but most importantly, rebuild their own strength and aggressively push into the unknown regions to seize more territory and possibly take us to some so far unseen planets. Now, later in the story, we'll see the formation of the First Order, and when the Centralist planets left the New Republic to join up with the remains of the Empire, we may even possibly get more information on Snoke, Kylo Ren in the latter part of the game, but it will also be really exciting to see the planet Vardos. This is the home planet of the game's lead character and is described as an Imperial utopia, which, it's something to see. Think about it. Imperial utopia. What does that look like? Obviously, they've designed it for this, and really, I think the story fleshing out of how to be a proud Imperial, we've seen it in novels like Lost Stars, so it's very exciting. Now, we see it in the trailer with what looks like a battle being fought, and this is possibly taking place after the opening scenes on Endor, but before the battle at Jakku. At this stage, many planets were rising up to join the Rebel Alliance and destroy the Imperials, but this probably wasn't the case on Vardos and would have made the planet a target for a Rebel attack. Vardos is fairly unique in the universe, universe, as it's pretty happy with its imperial rule. It's not held in line by force, and its citizens actually believe that the structure that the Empire brings to the galaxy is a good thing, which is something that many people who believe in the Empire and Imperials are yet to see. Most people see this Imperial rule. However, when you hear Imperials talk, they're talking about stability and peace and safety, structure. So this is absolutely amazing to see a planet where people are like, yes, we love the Empire. We like the safety of it. You rebels are really like terrorists. You rebel insurgents. We don't like you. I'm going to join the cause of the Empire to stamp you out because you're a blight on the galaxy. And so it is likely that a part of the story to make us get invested in our character and feel sympathetic towards her, as she's the hero of her own story, and the point of view of these evil rebels, essentially the terrorists, will be attacking her peaceful home, and she fights back, and she has a real vendetta, because that'll help with motives and obviously attaching to the whole Imperial shtick. Now, it's also going to be super interesting to learn about the Inferno Squad itself. Our lead character is played by actress Janina Gavanka. I don't think I pronounced that right, but it's also been confirmed that Paul Blackthorne, who you might recognize as Quentin Lance from Arrow, will be a part of the squad as a member called Gideon Hask. Also, if you're a fan of Arrow, you might recognize Janina from the first season as well. We learn a bit about the team from the trailer, and we see their ship, and you can check out just how much more badass they are than your standard stormtrooper, kind of like Scar Squadron. And this July, we'll be able to learn some more about the squad in a book, which will tell the story of the first mission. Judging by the investment of the book as well, as a strong supporting voice actor, it seems like the squad will be integral to the game story rather than just Versio herself. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm really excited about the game. Unlike its predecessor, where everything was built on nostalgia and these recreations of iconic moments, really, they made this beautiful game, but it just didn't have enough time to execute on all of these features and to move into the single player campaign and story, which we're getting to now. So Battlefront 2 looks to move it forward, and it will give us a new perspective on events we know, as well as a new story that's entirely within canon. We get to experience it, which is one of the most exciting things, because a lot of people, you play games, they're not canon, they don't affect everything. This is the time for the game player who really wants to learn more about the story themselves, be involved in it, and they get, the canon that other people may not experience. Now, I'm not saying that, we can cluck our tongues and say, well, we've played Battlefront, but it is, for gamers, a real validation to get some canon story, and, it makes me feel like we're valued again, and I'm very excited about that. And it's brave to come away from positioning the player as the traditional hero of the Rebel Alliance, and instead let us step into the shoes of someone who would normally be seen as a villain. So it's all going to be hinging on that backstory, the Imperial utopia, how much we buy into it, and how much we identify with their characters. It's really, like Lost Stars, will give you this whole Imperial narrative to sink your teeth into, and I think that is, if executed well, which I believe, they're taking all the right steps, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, what part of the game are you excited about? Do you have any theories of what could be included in the game? Let me know in the comments below. But the beauty of this video is it is just the start of the discussion. I'm getting crazy excited for this because our love of Star Wars surrounds and it binds us together. So I just can't wait to talk to you about it, because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that, my friends.